Mr. Speaker.
Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, that from the party that gave us the decade of deficits and that from the party that gave us a productive sector in recession for 5 years before they left office. Apparently they're supposed to be seen as part of the solution at this point. Mr. Speaker, they are the problem. And interesting about that bit of paper that the Leader of the Opposition was waving around, he might have said that it was 5 out of 10 that they rated the National Party, but they said that the Labor Party was a waste of space and irrelevant, Mr. Speaker. So I wouldn't be actually getting up there and quoting that article if that was the big endorsement that the Labor Party was looking for, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we need a competitive economy to grow in this country, and that means a number of things. And if the opposition wants a plan, here's one for them: a competitive tax system. That'd be a great thing, and that's what this government has delivered. More infrastructure for this country that will help it growth and productivity, and that's what this government has delivered. Better results from education, Mr. Speaker. Not just money being tipped in the front end, but actual accountability for that money is very important, and that's part of the plan, Mr. Speaker. More trade. More free trade, Mr. Speaker, less red tape and a much more productive public sector. That's what this government is delivering, Mr. Speaker, and Labor is opposing pretty much all of it. Labor is against a competitive tax system. That's even more obvious today. They're against infrastructure investment. They're interested in theory, but they oppose all of the moves that we're making in practice, Mr. Speaker, including out on the front of the Parliament today, Labor MPs once again opposing infrastructure development in New Zealand, Mr. Speaker. They oppose accountability in education. Just tip more money into skills training, more money in the front end. Don't care about whether you get anything out of it. As long as I get a headline with my funding, I'm okay, Mr. Speaker. R&D tax credits, that actually doesn't achieve anything except shifting money from one side of a company's accounts to another. But that's a good idea because I feel good with that, Mr. Speaker. And now, more tax. That's apparently the answer. More tax, Mr. Speaker, is the answer from the Labor Party, and it's an appalling answer. They propose a capital gains tax for New Zealand, and they quote the tax working group on that. That capital gains tax the tax working group proposed was 30% on capital gains on not just investment houses, on commercial properties, on farms, on shares and on investment properties. Mr. Speaker, that's what the $4.5 billion has to have to raise. It was 30% on average across those. Go back and read it, Mr. Parker. That's what it says, and that's an outrageous imposition. You want a competitive economy, and your solution is more tax on the productive sector. That's why these guys got thrown out. They got thrown out because they'd crippled the productive sector, and now they're saying to people, elect us and we'll cripple you again. That's the solution, because that is the answer. So the Labor Party is all about going backwards, Mr. Speaker. They want to go backwards to the heyday of tax and tax and tax and cripple the productive sector, and they expect the public of New Zealand to trust them to actually get a productive economy and to increase competition so that we can actually get a better result for this country. Nobody believes that, Mr. Speaker. Nobody believes that they have the potential to do that. And today's and yesterday's little utterances go to prove that once again, Mr. Speaker, because it's all about increasing taxes and they can't even get their numbers to add up. It's exactly the same as the research and development tax credit. The numbers don't add up. They throw around $4.5 billion on the TV last night, say they can do it at about 15%. It's all rubbish, and it will be unpicked over the next few days. It'll be interesting to see when they finally do their announcement, because I think the announcement's going backwards pretty fast at this point. It's going backwards. So I'm picking the announcement will come forward a little from Thursday, because they'll have to actually get it out there because it's absolutely falling to bits. So they'll be out there beavering away. David will be off with his calculator after this session, out the back to beaver away and try and come up with another answer, because they're going to need one, Mr. Speaker. It's appalling what they're proposing. It is actually economic vandalism. It's what the other side did for 9 years in government, Mr. Speaker, and now they want to be asked to have a crack again. They have no idea what to do. The solutions are a competitive tax system, more infrastructure, better results from education, more trade, less red tape, a much more productive public sector, and also investment opportunities for New Zealanders. That is what this government is delivering, Mr. Speaker. That is the plan. It's the plan New Zealanders know about, and they're keen on the plan. And on November 26th, I'm confident we'll get that endorsement.
Right. Come on, Mr. Cable.
Gareth Hughes.